Hello, I'm here to talk about endometriosis, and I'm very happy that you chose to watch this video. I know there are many, many videos out there about the subject. What I want to talk about is the way the person feels when they have the disease. You can get some wonderful medical information from other websites, from your medical care professionals, but what I want to talk about is how that person feels so that if you have it or you know someone that has it, you're able to understand a little better what could be happening. All right. In my case, I was diagnosed with endometriosis, and the pain wasn't so bad that I had to do something about it right at that moment in time. I actually went through in vitro, had a child, and then the pain became really bad. I'm currently home after 3 weeks after surgery, and I'm recovering from a hysterectomy and bladder surgery. So I have time to make videos. And I really want to get the idea out there too. There is not a lot of awareness about endometriosis, and that's a big problem because a lot of people don't know what it is. And I feel that, if you're working for someone and you have to call in sick a lot, that person may not understand the seriousness. If you were to say, "Oh, I have cancer, I can't, be at work," they'd say, "Oh, yeah, definitely." If you say, "I have endometriosis," "Oh, what's that?" They don't know. And I get one of two reactions when I mention the disease. Either I get the blank stare where they're waiting for me to give them more because they don't know what it is, or the look like I just told them my dog died. Just this, look where you can tell they know what it is. And I want to inform people about the way the person feels because I feel that as a patient, you have this chronic illness. It's not like you have the flu and then you're getting better. It's not like you have a cold and 3 days later you're feeling better. You have something that is chronic that's going to be a part of your life, and you never know when you're going to feel well. You never know when you're going to be able to make social functions. You're going to have a hard time. In my case, I was in school. You're going to have a hard time attending classes, doing things you need to do. And through all of this, I have been very fortunate. I've had people that understand what I'm going through, or at least know that I'm not making this up and believe what I'm telling them. I've had many jobs where I've had to call in more than I've been there. I've had many classes where I had to miss so many classes that, I had to be very honest with my professors and say, look, I have, I didn't know what I had because I didn't have a name until 2008 for this disease. But I kept saying to them, I'm really sick. And I tried to explain things the best I could. Well, in 2008, I was diagnosed with endometriosis. I was having some cysts removed from my ovaries because I was told I had polycystic ovarian syndrome. I was trying to get pregnant, and it was my healthcare provider's advice to have these cysts removed, and then maybe we could, achieve a pregnancy, which I'm very happy to say did happen down the road. It was quite a long, few years worth of surgeries and different things, but I'm not actually going to touch on those as much because I've mentioned those in another video. I'm going to talk about the way you feel in the middle of the night when the pain is so bad and the pain meds they give you aren't working for the pain and you just don't know what to do with yourself. I would go out into the living room and I would put the TV on, and then I would just try to lose myself in a show until the pain got a little better. Um, the pain would be so bad at some points that I just didn't know what to do, and it can be very hard. I had many people I could talk with about the problem. I feel that I had very strong support from my family and friends, and I also had, a good way of dealing with it. I started a blog. I started writing about it. I have a very, um, you know, very, I have an idea that I want to write a book, so I have this blog to kind of document the things that were happening when they were happening, and I wish I could have been more honest at the time with how I was feeling because I was feeling really, really bad. And I started reading stories about folks online who had thought about suicide, and I thought, wow, I see how they could think that because I see how bad this is. And sometimes it's hard to get out of that moment, and sometimes it's hard to say, oh, I know I'll feel better in a few days or whatever. Because even though you still have the disease, the intensity of the pain wouldn't last, say, more than 2 or 3 days, but you have a hard time seeing that that's going to happen, that you're actually going to get to that point where you feel that relief. Um, So if I want what I think the best advice if you have endometriosis, even if you're not in pain, You should put that suicide hotline number in your wallet, in your nightstand, somewhere where you can get to it. And just in case you ever need it. I was very fortunate that I never got to that particular point. I did go to the emergency room one day because it was so bad that I couldn't stand it. And that's when I went through many tests where they could only do. I was convinced I had something worse happening, and they determined, yes, you have polycystic ovarian syndrome, you have the endometriosis. We see why you're in pain. Here's some medicine, go home. Follow up with your doctor. And so what I want to really stress on is the fact that the person could be feeling really bad, and even if the pain is just mild, you could be getting very hopeless, very depressed, feeling like it's just going to go on forever and like there's nothing you can do to get away from that pain. And you need to get a second opinion from another healthcare professional if you're not getting the help you need from the one you have. And pain medicine just doesn't seem like the answer to me. It just feels to me like you need to really keep digging and find that person that's going to be proactive in getting you comfortable. In my case, I wanted a hysterectomy. I knew I wanted a hysterectomy because I have a teenage son and then the 17-month-old that I've mentioned. I knew I was all set as far as having children. If you are in that position, great. That would be a viable option for you to explore. If you're not in that position, then that's where it gets a little tricky, and certainly, where people can start to get very hopeless. And a lot of people lose their jobs because they can't get to their jobs. A lot of people have a lot of problems and then of course they might lose their medical insurance because they can't get to the job. And we need medical insurance more than There are a lot of things that happen that we need that for. I've had so many surgeries and things like that, you definitely need to try to do all you can to be honest with the people that you work for and with, and just let them know what's happening, because that way you are able to, hopefully, in most cases, get that understanding that you need, and let your loved ones know how you're feeling, and try to set goals for yourself and try to achieve these goals even though you have this. Pick the days you feel better to do more. That's what I did in college. I would pick the days that I felt better, and I'd go ahead in my book if I had to, because I knew that if I started getting really sick, I'd fall behind. I'd ask my teachers ahead of time, look, I have a condition that makes it difficult for me to do my work. I want to get as far ahead as I can. And most of them would understand. They would give me something to do. And then they know if I'm not in class all the time, that could be, why. I tried to force myself, no matter how bad I felt, I would go in there gray, shades of pale. I mean, just, feeling horrible. Because I'd rather let them see me trying to go than say, oh, I can't do it. I better stay home. I figure I better force myself into the room. Even if I can't stay for every class, at least if I could try to do the best I can. So I guess my main goal for making the series of videos that I'm making is to give people hope, to explain how we're feeling, but I want people to have hope. When you hear the word endometriosis, I feel like it just crushes every dream you had, because you either know, if you know what it means. In my case, I knew a couple of ladies that had it that never had children. They had tried, wanted to, and could not. I was younger, so I don't know the specifics, but I knew that they had this disease. So as soon as I heard the disease, I was just, it was like the hands around the throat and you can't breathe and you don't know what to do. Well, I am very happy to say that I was able to go through the in vitro and have a child. And in some people's cases, you may be able to do something like that to conceive. And I just want people to feel hopeful, and also I want people to understand what it's like. Know that everything you're feeling is normal, but if you are feeling anything severely bad, talk to someone. I mean, it's, you find a therapist. I know some people don't agree with therapy and they don't like the idea of it. I am a firm believer in therapy, and I believe that it is it's very helpful. And if it doesn't help you, I feel like it's a gift. You have an hour's worth of time where you can say whatever you want to say to someone who is not related to you, who isn't your friend. You don't have to hold back. You don't have to worry about hurting someone's feelings, because this person is there to listen to you. And I think that is huge. And I believe that when you have a chronic disease like that, having a person in your life, a therapist that you can trust, is really, is really a big part of survive, a part of your surviving with your mental health. Um, I'm in school. I actually am one assignment away as we speak now from my bachelor's in psychology. I will have that by December. And so, of course, I would feel therapy is good because I'm, interested in that. But I want to just say that, if you're not open to it, you're not open to it. If you don't want to do it, then, it's certainly your choice. But, it's something to consider. All right, I'm going to let this video come to a close for now, and I will be back with more videos because I have a lot more to say about the subject. Thank you for listening.